on it. So, all right. So, yeah, exactly right, right? So, we all good with that? So first thing we do, so again, when it says f of x equals 3x squared minus 7x plus 2, remember what function notation means. That means anything you plug in is going to go there, like that, and it's going to go there, right? You with me? Anything I stuff into the toaster is going to go where the x slots are, right? So if I put in x plus h, which they're asking me to do right here, they're saying put x plus h into the toaster, into the function, and then subtract all of f of x and put it all over h. That's what they're asking me to do, right? So I say, okay, I'll plug x plus h. So that's 3x plus h squared minus 7x plus h plus 2, right? You with me? Minus all of f of x, 3x squared minus 7x plus 2, all over h. A little scribbly here. Is that good? Everybody see that first step? Is that making sense? So this, oh, come on. This right here, let me erase this, get this out of the way, is f of x plus h. This is f of x, isn't it? Is that okay? Is it making sense what we do there? Questions I can answer? So you plug in x plus h everywhere where you have an x slot. That's what it means in function notation. Right? It's like the holes in the toaster. Plug in here. Right? So when I put the x plus h, plug in, it goes zip and zip into those two spots. Whoops, I kind of missed. It lands here and here, doesn't it? Right? That's what all functions do, right? Anytime you plug into a function, that's what's happening, right? Okay, so now we got a bunch of messy algebra. This one's going to be a pain. So you've got to FOIL all that stuff. I'm going to go to a fresh screen where I got a little more room. So you got to multiply all that out. So 3x plus h squared. So we got, what number is this? 30. So 3x plus h squared, what is it? Minus 7x plus h plus 2 plus h plus 2 minus, and then all of 3x squared minus 7x plus 2. Okay, all over h. So there's what we're looking at. Now we got to multiply. We got a bunch of messy algebra. This is the part I really want to be helpful to you on, because this is what's really important, especially in calculus, is being able to take this and not mess up. That's super important, really important. You got to get there. You really do, because this is all. Like I said, this is the second thing you're going to do in calculus, basically. It's chapter 3. And if you take 2 algebra steps and mess up, calculus is going to be the end of you. I don't mean to discourage you by that. I'm going to be like a doctor and tell you the truth. You have to raise your algebra game, and that just comes through hours of doing algebra so that you don't mess up after every second step. You know, you have to be able to pretty much flawlessly bring that all the way down with no mistakes, no negatives, no multiplication mistakes, and that just takes practice. Let's do this one. It takes time. Took me years. I used to watch my physics teacher, I always remember the way he could do algebra. And anyway, so it just takes practice. So take that minus, boom, 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 minus, so I'm going to distribute that minus 3x squared plus 7x minus 2 all over h. So far, so good? Oh, yeah, let me address a couple mistakes. Here's a really, really, really common mistake, is when you have a square, it's just to go square, square like that and think, oh, that's just x squared, h squared. That's not true. So important that you know. My daughters did it for a whole semester when they took pre-calc a year ago. They were taking Mr. Jameson, and I was helping them we'd sit around the kitchen table at night, and the girls all the time, both my daughters were taking it at the same time, they'd have a square, and they'd just go, oh yeah, x squared plus h squared, and I'd go, nope, for the 27th time, that's still not true. Still not true, girls, still not true. And they go, oh yeah, that's right, you got to write 2 of them. And now Lizzie's in calculus, and she swears that she never did that, but she did. But anyway, she's like, I knew that. I always knew that, Dad. No, you didn't. But anyway, so it takes practice. So is that good? You got to write. So remember, when there's a square on parentheses, you can't just square the pieces. You got to write 2 of them. Why? Why do you got to write 2 of them? Because that's different. When you FOIL it out, you get a middle term. You don't just get the first thing squared, second thing squared. You familiar with that? If not, you got to spend more time FOILing things out, more hours doing that. You'll get that. All right. We good to there? So don't do this. That's really, Really common mistake. Everybody does it, but you got to weed it out. Okay, so all right. So now here's the other mistake. A lot of people get confused on how to carry this out. What I'm going to suggest, I think I did say something yesterday, right? The main thing you can't do that would be wrong, the only thing you can't do is multiply the 3 there and to there. That's wrong. You can't distribute through 2 sets of parentheses. That's double distribution. That's wrong. You can't do that. So now you could go just through the first one. That would be okay, and then FOIL the rest just with the other parenthesis, not the 3 again, but just the result. That'd be okay. But anyway, having said all that, I don't want to say too much what not to do. Just do this. Just do the parentheses. That's, I think, the easiest thing to do. That's right. So just let the 3 sit there for a minute. Just let the 3 sit there. Do the parentheses. That'll be right. That'll be good. Let the 3 sit there. X squared plus xh plus hx plus h squared. Then distribute the minus 7. Minus 7x minus 7h plus 2 minus 3x squared plus 7x minus 2 all over h. We good to there so far? This is the reason people can't make it through calc. It's algebra. You know, not just my opinion. Ask any calculus teacher. They'll say, yep, their algebra skills just aren't good enough. That's it. Calc isn't hard, but it's this. You have pages of algebra in calculus, and people just are too weak on their algebra skills. So this is what you want to practice. This should be your goal for this semester. Just master this. This is what my goal was for my daughters, just to master this before they went on, so they would have a happy calculus experience. So does that make sense? You got to get all these little rules down. So now these two, I can combine as like terms. What do they make? What does xh? The order doesn't matter. You can call them both xh. Same thing, right? xh, what is it?
2xh.
2xh. Very good. I'm just going to, that's okay, a little scribbly there, but I don't want to do a whole nother line. I don't have room to do 2 more lines. So I'm just going to make that 2xh right there. Okay, now distribute that. So boom, boom, and boom. Right? Like that. So 3x squared plus 6xh plus 3h squared. That good to there. Minus 7h plus 2 minus 3x squared plus 7x minus 2 all over h. We're almost there. Let me give you a note to help. When you did this exact thing we're doing, as I said, it's really important. You do a bunch of it right in the beginning of calculus. It's called the difference quotient. At this point, well, let me just write it up here. All terms not, you okay there? Anything I can, so that's the final answer right here. Anything I can say to help? We good with that difference quotient? Real important for sure on the test, for sure in calculus. All's well, class, because there's so much material, you know, and I want to do it all, but I run out of time, and so I end up talking faster. You okay if I do it a little, if I speed up a little bit so I can do more problems for you? And then it'll be on YouTube later. That's why I feel a little bit okay with talking faster, and you maybe don't catch everything first time. It's on YouTube later. But because I want to show you more problems. So f of 2 equals 7, what is the value of a? Well, basically, this means plug 2 in, and the answer comes out 7, right? So that means if I plug 2 in, where does that go? It goes to all these little places, doesn't it? Right? We remember that's what it means. When you put a 2 in, the 2 goes there. You know, I don't need to draw that stuff. You know what that means. It shows up at all the x places. So I'm plugging 2 in, so I get 3 times 2 cubed, a times 2 squared, 4 times 2 minus 1. And what does it equal? 7. Yeah. Is that making sense what they're saying? Plug in 2, it's going to equal 7. So that gives you an equation with only one letter, a, and you can solve it. That's, what is this? 8 times 3, 24, plus 4a, plus 8 minus 1 is 7, 24, and 7 is 31, plus 4a is 7, subtract 31. 4a is minus something or other, 24, I think. Yeah. Divide by 4. A is minus 6. Good, that okay? Questions I can answer on that one? See what I did? I just plugged in 2 for x everywhere, and the answer equals 7, they told me. So I just said, okay, you're 7. Solve for A. A is negative 6. Try that one real quick. So R of N, they're just using different letters now instead of F of X. Same thing, though, same game. They're saying R, I'll put it up here, R of negative 2 equals 2. Want to try that one? Let me give you a second. They want you to find A in the end. So it's a lot like the last one. What's the plug-in letter? Yeah, right. We're going to plug in negative 2. And it goes right here and right here where N is, huh? Because it's in the parentheses. That's what that letter in the parentheses of a function means. This is where, when you plug in the holes of the toaster, there's where it shows up. So when you plug in negative 2, it's going to show up there and there, isn't it? On that, yeah.
And what's the purpose of the 2 that's equal to?
And then that'll be what you set it equal to. So meaning when you put in negative 2, it'll equal the 2 on the right. Does that make sense? So when you plug in negative 2, the whole thing will equal positive 2, is what they're saying. Find the value of A that makes that so, is what they're saying. Is that good? So then what we get? Minus 6 minus 8 over minus 2 minus A is 2. Bring that up here. That's minus 14 over minus 2 minus A is 2. So what do we do to solve that now? We're trying to solve for the A. What do we do? Yeah, by the common number. Everybody good with that? These are all the kind of stuff I want to kind of slow down and be helpful to you on. It's all this little algebra stuff. Yeah, when you got a denominator, you multiply both sides by it, huh? And it cancels on this side. And so you get minus 14. This side it distributes. Minus 4 minus 2A. Is that good? Mm-hmm. How do we finish solving for A? Add the 4. So minus 10 is minus 2A. Last step, divide by minus 2. A is positive 5. Good on all that? All right, I'm going to move along. Got that. So I'll be on you. What I haven't done. Let's do, this one will be quick. It sounds strange. So first off, let me just go area of a triangle. Do you remember the area of a triangle formula? Let's say area of a triangle. Yeah, you remember that one? Right, 1/2 the base times the height. Remember that one? Yeah. So just start there. That's just the regular one, right? You get a 3x5 card for the exam, so you're a little rusty on that. Put that on your 3x5 card. Anything on the homework could be on the exam. Put it on 3x5 card. So anyway, now, okay, so there's the beginning. Now, what else are they saying? They're saying height is twice base. Height is twice base. That means H equals, is equals, right? 2B. H equals 2B. Height is twice base. So what? Well, then they want me to take that and plug it in for H right there. So 1/2 B, and then what's H? 2B. Everybody see that? See what happened there? They told me in the words, height is twice base. It was saying up here. So H equals 2B. Plug that in for H. Plug in 2B right there for H. Okay, then simplify that. 1/2 and 2 cancel. It's just B squared, isn't it? Right? Is that okay? That's the answer. Well, they want you technically to put parentheses B here. Notice they want a B here and a B squared there. Right? Because it's a function of B. Is that notation confusing? That means area is a function of base. Do you know what it means to be a function of? Like meaning you give it a base, it'll tell you an area. For example, if the base is 3, plug that in. 3 squared, the area is 9. In a triangle whose height is twice the base. That makes sense? Second, you okay with those parentheses? Remember, that does not mean multiply, does it? It means I'm a toaster. Plug in here. Right? It's a function. Everybody seeing that difference? This means area is a function of base. That'd be kind of like me saying your grades are a function of how much time you spend in your homework. Right? Put in homework, get out grades. Right? Put in B, get an area. Right? It's a function. Area is a function of base. That's what they're wanting you to say. And there it is. Good on that?